The clock blinked. 2:59 a.m. I was wide awake, heart pounding, a cold sense of being watched crawling up my spine. The room was unchanged, yet everything felt wrong. Shadows seemed to pulse in the corners, the air thick with anticipation. I tried to dismiss it as stress, a lingering nightmare, but the dread only grew heavier. Silence pressed in, not empty, but charged, as if the world was waiting for something. I lay frozen, every muscle tense, waiting for the dark to answer back. The clock blinked again, 3:00 a.m. The feeling of being watched became certainty, as if a switch had flipped in the universe. The quiet of my street was gone, replaced by a silence that screamed. My life, my job, my routines suddenly felt like someone else's story, flimsy and fragile. I was just a man, lying in bed, waiting for the unknown. The dread was a physical knot in my stomach. I tried to move, to shake off the feeling, but I was trapped by fear. The ordinary had become sinister. I waited, breath held, for whatever was coming next. The darkness felt alive, watching, waiting, and I was powerless to look away. My life was built on routine. Wake at 6:30, coffee with 2 sugars, the same seat on the 8:15 train. My job as an accountant was about order, predictability, and eliminating surprises. Lunch was always turkey and Swiss, dinner something memorized, TV unchallenging. Weekends meant mowing the lawn, washing the car, paying bills. I called it comfort, but it was a fortress of repetition. Looking back, I see I lived on the surface, polishing the outside of a box I never dared open. My routine was my shield and my cage. I never questioned if this was the life I truly wanted. I had forgotten where the lock was. A soft click broke the spell, a lock turning from the outside. My heart stopped. The front door creaked open, footsteps echoed on the floorboards. Calm, deliberate steps, not hurried. They knew where I was. I was paralyzed, fear rooting me to the bed. The footsteps climbed the stairs, each one a hammer blow. The bedroom door opened. I felt a presence, cold and void of warmth. A hand rested on my shoulder. "Arthur," a voice whispered, calm, absolute. They knew my name. The grip tightened, strong and inescapable. Another figure moved beside me. "It is time," the voice said. A black hood was pulled over my head, plunging me into darkness. My wrists were bound, and I was dragged from bed, stumbling and blind. All my routines, my predictability, were annihilated in seconds. I was no longer Arthur the accountant. I was cargo led into the night. The world I knew was gone. Only the unknown remained. Blinded by the hood, my senses sharpened. Cold air on my feet, the roughness of gravel, the smell of stale smoke in the car. The vehicle bounced and turned. I tried to map the route, but it was hopeless. My captors sat silent, their presence heavy. Time lost meaning. Minutes or hours, I couldn't tell. Why me? I was ordinary, unremarkable. No enemies, no secrets. The kidnapping made no sense, and that was the most terrifying part. The car finally stopped. I was pulled out onto damp earth, led down concrete steps. The air was thick with decay, like a cellar. Down we went, deeper into the unknown. My heart pounded, mind racing with questions. Each step was a descent into fear. I was utterly powerless. The nightmare was only beginning. I was shoved into a chair, wrists freed, hood yanked off. Blinding light from a single bulb revealed a bare, concrete room. Two shadowed figures stood before me. "Do you know why you are here, Arthur?" the voice asked. Calm, emotionless. I shook my head, throat dry. "If it's money, you're mistaken. I have none." The figure chuckled. "We don't want your money, that's just paper and numbers. We want your potential, the wealth of a life unlived." The words made no sense. My fear turned to confusion. "What do you want from me?" I stammered. The second figure spoke, voice rough. "We want you to wake up. You've been asleep for 42 years, Arthur. You balance books, but you're missing your real life. We are here to serve as your alarm clock." The bulb flickered, plunging the room into momentary darkness. My mind reeled. This was no ordinary kidnapping. They weren't after ransom. They were after me. The me I'd never allowed to exist, and I had no idea what would come next. "An alarm clock?" I echoed, incredulous. "You kidnapped me to wake me up?" The first man stepped into the light, ordinary face, ancient eyes. "Not to wake you, Arthur, to give you the choice. We open the door. You must walk through. You've ignored every sign the universe sent. Routine became your fortress." His words struck a chord I'd long buried. The second man placed a worn book on the table. "Remember this? The book of maps you wanted, but left behind?" He added a photo of mountains. "You longed to travel, but dismissed it as impractical." More items followed. A stone, a painting class leaflet, a volunteer expedition clipping. Each was a ghost of a road not taken. "These were invitations," the first man said. "Threads in the tapestry you were meant to weave. You chose the gray pattern instead, so we were sent, the final unignorable sign." The table was a map of my unlived life. I felt exposed, vulnerable, but also strangely seen. My cage had been self-made. The message was clear. I could keep ignoring the call or finally answer it. The choice was mine. For the first time, I wondered what might happen if I said yes, and I was terrified. I stared at the objects, fragments of forgotten dreams, the book of maps, the mountain photo, the painting class, the urge to take a new path home. Each was a moment I'd buried under routine. My life wasn't a fortress. It was a prison, and I was my own jailer. The first man spoke softly. "Your soul has a destiny, Arthur. Ignore it, and life fades to gray. You weren't living, you were merely existing." The words cut deep. I saw my routines for what they were, bars on a cage. I had traded joy and meaning for safety. The world outside was waiting, vibrant and unknown. I realized existence was not enough. I wanted to live, but could I? The room was silent, the weight of truth heavy in the air. My life lay shattered on the table, trinkets and lost dreams. The messengers had finished. The choice was mine. "You can return to your routine," the first man said, "or choose differently. The cage is comfortable, but the door is open." He opened the door to dawn's gray light, the scent of new beginnings drifting in. The second man handed me the bag of objects, a reminder in case you fall asleep again. They vanished, leaving me alone with my decision. I sat, the bag in my hands, morning air on my face. The choice was simple yet terrifying: return to safety or step into the unknown. I realized the most dangerous thing was not risking failure, but never trying at all. the world was waiting. I stood, heart pounding, and walked toward the light. The first step was mine to take, and I took it. I did not go home. I walked into the dawn, the world vibrant and new. The sunrise painted the sky with colors I'd never noticed before. I wandered, the bag of dreams in hand, no destination in mind. I was no longer Arthur the accountant. I was simply a man, free. The kidnapping was not violence, but liberation. My old life faded behind me. I felt peace, not regret. At a bus station, I closed my eyes and picked a random spot on the map. I bought a one-way ticket. As the city receded, I felt only hope. This story is not just mine. It's a question for you. Are you awake? Are you listening to your own soul's whispers? Don't wait for a 3 a.m. wake-up call. Your destiny is calling. Will you answer?